I'm Alex.
And I'm Teddy.
And we are
The Button Mappers.
Hey, the Button Mappers. Yo, welcome to the show where me and Teddy yell in your ear for like 30 minutes.
In a very intellectual manner.
That's how I want to put it on the YouTube channel and other services we put the show on. Just a show where Alex and Teddy yell into your ear.
Soft yelling, but maybe for the
soft yelling, relaxing,
soft yelling. The most gentle yelling you could ask for.
Welcome, guys, to an intellectual discourse on something very interesting.
Yahoo!
We've done consoles. We did one about Sega last time. The last time we recorded one, anyway. Or uploaded one. I don't know. Anyway, the last time I remember. So today we are doing one on which console is right for you, but we're doing modern consoles.
We thought we'd go a little more topic-oriented. You know, topics are kind of a pastime for us, and we thought the intellectual discourse format would be a nice way to go back to our origins.
Plus, I mean, it's fair to say that we'll do a retro-themed one at some point, too. Which retro console's right for you, you know. That'll happen, probably. So, for you retro fans, don't be scared. We'll do that. Don't be sad.
It's only the most intellectual thing to do.
But today we're talking about the modern consoles. We're talking about the Wii U.
You're talking about the Wii U.
We're talking about the Wii U. The Wii U versus the Xbox One. I'm just kidding.
That might be fair.
You know what? I think the Wii U might actually win in that situation.
Anything's possible.
No, we're gonna talk about the modern consoles that are out, which are the Xbox One, PS4, and Switch. This is the year 2019, so those are the current consoles. You know, we're not really gonna. I don't think we're really gonna try to take sides. More like just talk about which one is right for you, for your type of gaming needs.
Yeah, good point. I mean, this is the year 2019, so I mean, in 2019, this is where the current consoles are standing. And we're really going to, bust it down, break it down, bust a move. It's too bad we don't see much bust a move on these modern consoles.
So hopefully by the end of this, you'll know, if you're a longtime gamer, you'll know which console maybe you want to jump into. And if you haven't gamed at all, maybe this is where you could start.
Maybe.
So I don't really know how to start this off, Teddy. Do you have any ideas?
I was thinking we could just talk about our feelings on the idea of modern gaming. Did you always buy into it?
That's a really good question. Did I always buy into modern gaming? And I think for the longest time I didn't. And that was mainly during the last generation. For the longest time, I had gotten a Wii, and that was my like modern platform for a while. I didn't really like the Xbox 360 or PS3. I did get them, and I do still own a PS3. But I have owned both of them at one point, and I didn't really care for that generation of modern gaming, so it just didn't really appeal to me, you know? But I did play the Wii, and I did follow up the Wii U. But eventually I did hop over to the PS4, and I did own an Xbox One for a little bit, and now I own a Switch. So I have delved into this modern gaming generation, and I would say I have enjoyed it a lot more than I did like the last generations, because I didn't really get into those.
You know, I agree with you. I feel like, and maybe it's a sign of the times, but you know, I mean, I had an N64 when it was out and relevant, and you know, and I was of that age. And I had a GameCube when it was out and relevant, and you know, I was of that age. But I don't think of those, even for their time, as being like modern gaming. And you know, when you think of Nintendo and even like jumping on the Wii U, it's almost hard to say if that even is modern gaming for its time. But I feel similarly, you know, when I look back, that I was a little disenchanted with modern gaming, with the idea of live gaming, online gaming, that being the direction. And I feel like it just lost sight of games. And I think one of the beautiful things about modern gaming now is that it's sort of found its way back to the games for the most part.
Oh yeah, it's for a while everything was online gaming. Everything was like your big budget franchises, and it kind of lost part of the charm that I enjoyed during like the PS2 era or like the Genesis era and stuff. You know, like it lost part of that fun. And plus, I think it took me a really long time to really warm up to the idea of like digital content, like buying digital games and stuff. Like, you know, like whenever I was younger, I hated it. I didn't want to own any digital games. I wanted all my games physically. You know, I wanted to actually own my games, and that's still something that I do to this day for games that I really care about. But I've kind of become more laxed on it. You know, I've kind of become more eased into like buying digital content.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I'm probably not as into digital gaming as you are, but I definitely have dabbled in it. My 3DS is littered with digital titles. And the Switch, you know, I've downloaded games there, PS4. So I'm open to it, you know, if the price is right. But there's definitely some perks to modern gaming, which I think we'll get into.
So, Teddy, let's just maybe we should just go console by console, you know? Kind of
Sure.
talk about the perks and pros and cons, you know?
Let's get modern with it.
So let's start with the Wii U. I'm just kidding. We'll start with the Wii U is a funny console because is it modern? Is it retro? It like really didn't fit anywhere. It's like in its own
an anomaly, and
it's in its own generation.
We're gonna have our own discourse on that. I'm a little hesitant to talk about it yet because I own like 2 or 3 games, and I don't really feel like buying games that are being ported again. I made that mistake with Mario Kart 8, and now I'm like, well, I should have just got it on the Switch.
You should have.
Yeah, probably. But it was like a $5 loss, so I'm not going to like complain about it. The Wii U is a weird one. Personally, I would never have considered that a modern console because I feel like maybe that console had, I don't know. It's like when you think of our solar system,
yeah,
the Wii U is outside of it.
Yeah, but it still lasted until 2016, 2017, somewhere around there. And it's hinges. Like well into this generation. You know, like, see what I mean? It's strange. It's a strange one to really think about. Like, I don't know where that one falls. So maybe we won't talk about the Wii U today.
Good, because I'm done talking about it.
I think we should start with the poster boy for the modern console would maybe be the PS4.
Okay, why don't you start?
I did get a PS4, not at launch, but I got it about a year in, and I was excited because it was, you know, it was the new cutting edge console. I loved how like good some of the visuals on the console looked, and when I first got it, I was buying games left and right. I was buying like everything, and I found where I did the same kind of things with like the PS3 and like 360, where I just kind of bought games and played whatever. I found myself enjoying the games on the PS4 a lot more because they seemed to be more open to trying different experiences. Than like the PS3 did. Like, you know, like I'm trying to think of examples right off the top of my head. But sorry, I'm drawing a blank for a second.
No, it's okay, because when I think back to the PlayStation 3, well, I never owned one, but you know, I always think back, like there's probably maybe 3 or 4 games that are brought up in conversation. I guess you could talk about Mass Effect, but like Little Big Planet was like a name, and honestly,
Uncharted.
How big is Little Big Planet? Uncharted.
Yeah.
I guess that the PS4, even though you did get re-releases for a lot of that, you did get your Uncharted. You got re-releases of like a lot of I don't know, these collections, some of which still are only on PS3. You did get just a load of content. And I think the beautiful thing about the PlayStation 4 was really that it was an opportunity for people to jump in and not feel like they missed out on any of that if they did.
And it seemed like to me whenever the PS4 came out, Sony was really like focused on the games, focused on what gamers wanted, you know. And so like I remember the first day I got my PS4, I had some like titles like Mortal Kombat X and Uncharted the collection or whatever, and a few other games I had picked up the like a few months before that, you know, because I knew I was getting a PS4. But when I first got it, I actually went on the store, and the first couple games that I got were I downloaded the newest retro throwback to Gauntlet, and I downloaded Tembo the Badass Elephant, which is a game by Game Freak. And they were really fun, like different games that I'm not sure if I would have saw on the PS3. You know, they were like retro style games almost. One's like a dungeon crawler, and one's like a platformer. You know.
Yeah, I think, and we've said this plenty of times, but the PlayStation 4 has something for everyone. And, you know, even if you go in and it's like, well, I don't know that I want this game or that game, even though there are several standout titles, PlayStation Plus as a service is really a great entry point because it gives you that free game or two every month. And, you know, you don't own it, but you get to experience it and you get to get a feel for what the PlayStation 4 is like. And, you know, I can't say I've played many of the games online, if any, unless we were doing something co-op. But I did enjoy PlayStation Plus for the time that I had it.
We did play Earth Defense Force. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Which I love. That's something, too. If you like niche Japanese titles, like the PS4 is your thing. Like Earth Defense Force, like Senran Kagura, like those types of game series.
And even if you just like playing online with somebody, the PlayStation 4 is also a good console to own.
Yes, and there's a lot of I also love the PS4. I'm trying to think because it has the video share option, which is the best thing if you are making videos online and you don't have an easy way to capture game footage, because you can rip the game footage directly from your console, and that's super handy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all you gotta do is press a button on the controller.
Yeah, that's it. It saves the video for you.
Mm-hmm. It is really a beautiful feature, and it's creator friendly.
It's so, yeah. And like I said, you know, like there's games for everybody. There's online shooters like Overwatch or Call of Duty or whatever the hell you're into. There's massive RPGs. There's sprawling adventure games. Like there seems to be like it was almost like with the PS4. They really wanted everybody to have a game. Like, you know, like within the first couple years, like I was playing like Trackmania Turbo, and then I was playing like Street Fighter. Then I was, you know, turning around and playing. I was playing like a bunch of different types of games, like horror games, like Resident Evils and stuff like that. And you know, it's just it really felt like the PS2 all over again. You know how the PS2 just kind of had a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm. It felt like that. Yeah.
So.
Okay.
So is the PS4 for any particular audience?
Yes.
Teddy?
I think so. I think, well, it's for, first off, gamers, you know, first and foremost. Also, people who want to play together online, who are apart from each other. And it's not necessarily the same online play that characterized the generation before it, because the generation before it was just like the hype was like live battle matches, etc., which is still a thing. You know, there are those games for those who seek them. But I think one of my favorite things about the PS4 is that the other person doesn't have to own a game that the other person wants to play with them. You can honestly just invite them to a match and then just start playing with them. I think we played Darius. You know, we played Darius Burst together, we did, and you don't own that. You know,
we did Darius, and we did chess. We did pure chess. You know what else I loved? Whenever we both had, I think you had just gotten it, and then I went out and I bought a copy of it. Geometry Wars 3, because that was my favorite, because I could see all the stuff you scored on the levels, and then I would try to go in and try to beat your scores on the certain levels. It was fun.
Yeah, and that one is super competitive too. It's fun. Like, I mean, you know, I say, "Oh, Alex played this one. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I crushed him." Or like, "Oh no, he got me on this one. Maybe I need to come back and redo my scores." So I hear you.
Maybe PS4 is good for people that want to live stream too, because you can live stream to YouTube and Twitch. And that's maybe a good option for somebody that doesn't have the capability to like buy all the equipment they need.
Sure, you can get a $40 headset with a microphone in it. and just plug it into the bottom of the controller.
Exactly. So, PS4 is a really good one to get into. It's really easy to get into.
Mm-hmm. I think it earns the modern award. I don't know, but we
Yeah,
have to go
like
back
I
to
said,
the
I,
others too.
I think it's the poster boy for the modern console. At least this generation. So, but moving on from the PS4, you want to go? Where you want to go next?
I want to go to the Xbox.
Okay, let's go to the Xbone.
So because we're going from poster boy to maybe failed poster boy.
Yeah, just kicking this dog while it's down. Man, Microsoft, I don't know what the hell happened to them. Because they did, like, the 360 was really popular, and it had some good stuff. It was a decent console.
I used to love Halo, and I did buy into modern gaming on the 360, and I played Halo 2 online, played Halo 3 online, played Call of Duty 2 online, played a little bit of Call of Duty 4 online, and, I bought into that experience for a little bit, and they dominated that scene. We don't talk about, like, the PlayStation 3's online, 4v4s, but we talk about the 360s. We talk about, like, the days when we used to do Halo matches. But, with the Xbox One, what happened? The best thing they have going for them is the controller. But the games, what happened to Halo? Halo just became a collection, like a failed collection in a way. And, I mean, it's hard for me to speak to it because I've never owned one. But I can tell you why I've never owned one. Because they never had that same appeal that they had with the previous console.
And even me, like, I wasn't that in online gaming, but I still liked the 360 because I could play. I still had some games like Gears of War. I could play the campaigns, or like, they had some rare. So Rare brought out some games like Banjo Nuts and Bolts and Viva Pinata and stuff. And it seems like with the Xbox One, who's the audience? Like, we said PS4 is for everybody, but who the hell's the audience for the Xbox One? I don't know. Like, does they have like Halo fans maybe because they do that, but other than that, like, who like when I had an Xbox One, I had a handful of games, like 6 games, which is not a lot for me. I usually buy a lot more games than that, and the only two I really played were Sunset Overdrive and the Rare Replay. And one of those is just a collection of old games, So the only original game for the Xbox One that I cared for at the time was Sunset Overdrive. And it almost became like, is it worth keeping this entire console for one game? Like, I didn't have any other exclusives to play. Nothing was coming out that I cared about. All the other games I could buy on PS4. It was like, what's the point?
Mm-hmm. Is it worth it?
Is it worth it? And it's like Microsoft and Xbox, they've kind of like lost their identity this generation,
I think that's valid. It's like I think back to the Xbox, and the only other game in the past few years that has really been eye-grabbing that was exclusive to the console was Ori and the Blind Forest,
which is coming to Switch,
which is now coming to Switch.
And Cuphead came to Switch, which I bought that on PC whenever it came out because I didn't have the Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
So you can still buy those games some other way.
You asked who the fan base is for the Xbone, right? And
yeah.
I agree because, like, what can you get on Xbox that you can't get on PS4 that would be an Xbox title? So, like, I think the sports games, but when are you not going to see a sports game on the PS4 as well? You're going to get your basketball, your NHL, your Maddens. I'm not saying like it's going to be like the Xbox exclusive, but I think the only appeal that the Xbox One really has is a devoted fan base, people who trust them.
You know what though? I will give Xbox One something. It does have one big advantage over the other two consoles, and that is backwards compatibility. That's the only reason why I would have, because they didn't really have that much when I had my Xbox One. But if I were to get one today, that's why I would get it. Is because it can play some of the original Xbox and 360 library games.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's worth it for some people. That's a cool feature, and also you could play cross-play with Switch users on some games like Minecraft and Fortnite or whatever. But other than that, yeah, I don't really see the bigger audience. I don't see why you would go, oh, I want an Xbox One because it's got Halo.
I think very soon it'll boil down to price point.
You think so?
They've already reduced it as low as $200 in store. You could probably get it on online or something for maybe $100.
I think I saw it at a game store for $150. Like at a
Brand
retro
new.
game store. Yeah, I was just like sitting there, and I was like, I don't know. But like I said, maybe that's the only thing I think Xbox One has is backwards compatibility.
I think, as far as aesthetic too, like we're talking about modernity. I think it hits some check boxes for being quote unquote modern. I feel like when people think about the home console entertainment system, it's still the Xbox. Like the PlayStation 4 works for sure, but the Xbox also has some technical qualities that are a little superior to the PlayStation 4. I know it supports 4K.
I think the PS4 does too with the Pro units and stuff.
I don't think the Pro does quite the same as
You
the
don't think
Xbox
so?
One S. No, but I've looked at checklists, and as far as being compatible with modern TVs, the PlayStation 4 Pro is deficient in some regards that the Xbox One S is not.
Okay. I still couldn't recommend the thing to anybody.
No, me neither.
Like I said, I owned one, and I played Sunset Overdrive, and then I played the Rare Replay, and then I sold it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this is not the console to get this generation.
I mean, at the end of the day, it boils down to the age-old question: are you a graphics whore?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say, is it worth it?
It boils down to the age-old question: is it worth it?
Is it worth it? But still, even at that, you've got a whole lot more choices on the PS4.
Mm-hmm.
PS4's got so many exclusives that the Xbox doesn't have.
Another system that has exclusives?
The Wii U.
Do you know another system that has exclusives?
Does it rhyme with the Nintendo itch?
It rhymes with that network.
The
I
itch
have
network.
a real itch for.
The Switch network.
The Nintendo Switch network, right?
Teddy, this is a funny one. You and I have both gone on record when the Switch came out saying that we weren't getting one yet.
Right, and I would
Do you
have
remember
to
that?
redirect people to our majority cast on making the Switch.
Yeah, there was one like that, and then I did a fake unboxing where I did a fake unboxing of the Switch, and I just pulled out like a Wii U game or something, and then it had written on a napkin. It just said, "Dear Alex, wait for more games, Nintendo," because at the time there wasn't much going on, on the Switch. Sorry, go ahead.
And I also had the 13 reasons why the Switch is overrated.
You did, yeah, because you had me call in on that.
Mm-hmm.
So we when the Switch came out, we were both pretty loud advocates of wait.
Mm-hmm. And
the age old question, Teddy, was it worth it?
Really? I thought you were gonna say, are we graphics whores?
was the God? I'm choked up now. Was the wait worth it?
Do you know worth and whore sound very similar? Never mind. The Nintendo Switch. Wow. I have to say, okay, my girlfriend bought it for me for my birthday. So that was really incredible. And I'd always been on the fence, like, I'm not buying this, right? And then it just showed it up on my front porch as we were about to leave for birthday dinner. And it was wrapped in tape, but the box was wrapped in tape. It was an Amazon Prime box. And on the stickers, it just said books. I was like, okay, I don't know who sent me books, but okay, maybe it's back to school or something. I don't know. So I brought it in. She's like, do you want to open it? And I was like, maybe, I guess I just want to open it before we go. And she's like, okay. So I started opening it without a single expectation. And then, as I'm taking the tape off, I open the box. I'm very nonchalant. And then I look inside and I see the Switch logo and my face, my jaw dropped, my eyes bulged. I'm like, what the fuck is this? What is happening? I couldn't figure it out. And even though, I had felt that jaded symptom that we had kind of shared prior to acquiring the console, the second it showed up on my doorstep, I was just giddy.
I think mine was my delayed reaction to the Switch was more like I had been burned with the Wii U, man. And which I still enjoyed my Wii U and it still had some great games, but it definitely wasn't the console it needed to be. And after that and stuff, I was like, I don't know if I want to buy the Switch thing. Like, it just came out, everybody's raving about it, but like, what about in 2 years? 3 years is going to have the games. So I was like, I told myself, I was like, you know what? If I can count on like one hand, I have 5 games to play. That's when I'll get it. And then it happened real fast. Nintendo was not shy about letting those games out. So
yeah, they've put in the work, and it's paying off. Do you want to talk about maybe like some of your experiences with the Switch over the course of owning it?
The Switch is a console that if I could own every other game I have on the Switch, I would do it, because it's such a unique console with the fact that it's a home console and a portable console. It kind of like, when I first heard about that, I was like, what's the point, Like, what's the point of this console? And then, like, once I used one, and once I started playing the Switch, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. I was like, this is awesome. So, I bought it with, like, a bunch of games. First few games I played were, like, Mario Party, Mario Odyssey, Smash Bros., a handful of other games. And, but, I don't know, there's been a lot of really good first-party offerings. There's been a lot of really good third-party offerings. There's been a lot of really good digital titles coming to the Switch. I know you and I are both fans of the Sega Ages titles they've been putting out. There's a lot to love when it comes to the Switch, and it's so amazing that I can play all these great games on a handheld, pretty much.
Which is crazy because I remember you being very apathetic towards the 3DS.
I'm not a handheld guy, and I do have a 3DS and I did play it for some time, but I'm just, I don't know, they've never held my interest. But with something like this, it's almost kind of like revolutionary,
It's a tablet with handles.
It's a tablet with fucking handles. But it's cool.
I agree. Because it's almost like, you remember going to like a science fair and like, I don't know, like that one kid made a hovercraft. You're like, oh, I wish I could make a hovercraft.
All I got is a potato.
All I have is the stupid potato with the fork in it. I tried to make electricity, but I couldn't.
So I just ate part of the potato.
The Nintendo Switch is the hoverboard, and at the end of the day, people who don't ride it, they love to hate it.
Yeah, and the Xbox is a potato.
Yeah. And the people who have the Xbox feel like that person with the potato. No, I'm joking.
No, it's.
But go ahead.
Sorry, I was just bringing up Xbox. Man, Microsoft and Nintendo have been working so close together lately, and that's one thing I've been loving about the Switch is that like we've gotten games like Cuphead. We've gotten games like like I said, Ori's coming. You can get Minecraft on it, Banjo Kazooie's and Smash Bros. You can do cross play with the people that own Xbox games. Like that's really something cool. I don't think we've seen two console manufacturers like work so close together before.
Until Sega died, but of course,
Well, after Sega became a console manufacturer, yeah.
Yeah. But I agree. It's because, Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, they've always been like the big names. So, yeah, I agree. Maybe it's a good sign of things to come.
Maybe, yeah, because like I don't know if how bad this is hurting Microsoft to let Nintendo like have some of that, some of the original stuff and kind of share some of that. But I think it's good for Microsoft because it's almost like Nintendo sees that they're failing, and they're like, hey, look, we'll give you some of the love, some of that Switch love.
I'm still holding out for Rare Replay on the Switch.
What is the game that made you go, okay, I need a Switch?
It's actually the only one that I probably spent around that $50 price tag on, and it was Mario Odyssey.
That was a big one for me too. I think mine was a little more personal because it was the Travis Strikes Again No More Heroes game,
Mm-hmm.
which I do have a physical copy of that. One of the first games I picked up, and I do love that game. And of course now they're making No More Heroes 3. But that was like that was the big announcement because I remember when they first showed up the Switch. They announced that there was going to be a No More Heroes game, but they didn't really show what it was. And then once they actually showed the first trailer for the game, like a year later, I did a reaction video on my for Turbo Zone. Actually, it's gone now, but where I was actually like really excited, and I was like, I'm gonna get a Switch. Like this is the game that'll make me get a Switch, and indeed it was, and that was the game that I picked up first. So,
All right. I have to make an addendum actually, because there are a few games that have given me that kind of hype as well. And I own Dragon Quest on the PS4, but seeing the trailers for the Switch one, it got me excited for it again in a way that I wasn't excited for in the beginning, which is surprising because I usually get really excited every time a Dragon Quest game is announced. And the other one is Shin Megami Tensei 5, which since has kind of gone AWOL. Atlas is, I don't know what they're doing with it. I guess Persona's been the big thing, so I guess they maybe lost sight of it for a bit, or like still working on it under the scenes. But it was announced for like 2018, and then 2018 went by, and we don't know anything about it. So I'm hoping to hear more about it. But owning a Switch now, and also seeing the RPGs that are constantly released for it, I feel like I have a lot to experience in the RPG world. And you talked about that handheld appeal, and it's not just like holding a handheld gaming system. You're actually you're playing a portable modern console. And
it's crazy.
It's what, like, this is the age we live in, and I think if I had said that to myself 5 years ago, I wouldn't have believed it. But it's really cool to see how Nintendo continues to innovate with their science fair-esque technology.
Who do you think the Switch is for? Which gamers?
E for everyone. I don't know. I feel like the Switch is for a lot of people. I think it's first and foremost for Nintendo fans.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
maybe
Mario,
we can agree.
Zelda, etc.
Maybe we can agree it's maybe for people that didn't get the Wii U, because a lot of those titles have been brought over. So this is like the good Wii U, This is like
I bought a Wii U 2 days before that Switch came in the.
I'm so sorry, Teddy.
No, it all comes full circle. We started talking about the Wii U. We're done. No, I'm joking.
I've decided I have the special edition Wind Waker Wii U. And with the all the Zelda stuff on the tablet, but I've decided, because I've bought most of the Wii U remasters except for a couple. I think Tropical Freeze and like Captain Toad are like the two I don't have right now. I've decided that if they announce Pikmin 3, and Mario 3D World for the Switch, I'm selling my Wii U.
Yeah,
because there's no point for me to own it at that point.
Not Star Fox Guard.
Yeah, Star Fox Zero and Guard, like those would be the only in like the first Splatoon. Like, are those worth keeping the Wii U for? No. But if you a lot of people didn't buy the Wii U, and the Switch has a lot of those games, and if you haven't experienced them, they're still great games. Mm-hmm. And they're being brought over. So Nintendo fans and people that maybe wanted to play some of those Wii U games, this is a good choice. And who else?
Yeah. Do you have a? Oh, well, you gave your answer. So like people who missed out on the.
Well, I was gonna say, I think there's more than that. I think there's people who like multiplayer games, because I mean, when you buy a set of Joy-Cons, it costs as much as a new PS4 controller, but you're basically getting two smaller controllers. So it's people that want to play multiplayer games, people that like RPGs, like people that like retro games with all of the NES and SNES services and stuff. Like there's a vast audience. It's almost like
shooters.
Spaceship
I
shooters.
Couldn't believe I said that.
Yeah. There's a lot of them on there.
I have a bunch on my wish list. It's really cool.
I play the first two Gunbird games all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like people that like compilations, there's a lot of compilations on the Switch. People that like retro games, people that like new games, RPGs. They're bringing Overwatch to the Switch next month. It's almost
RPGs, Fire Emblem's out. Like there's some
Final
game
Fantasy
on there that is reminding me of like Advance Wars. It's kind of pitched like that.
Wait, you're talking about Wargroove or whatever?
I don't know. There's two of them or something, but I'll come back to that.
There's like I said, and then I kind of kicked myself because I bought the Final Fantasy 12 remaster on PS4, and now it's on Switch, and I kind of want it on Switch.
Mine is still sealed for my PS4.
So sad, but it's almost like I think the Switch is kind of stealing some of the PS4's thunder. The only reason I go on my PS4 anymore, as opposed to when I first got it, is now to play like the big games, to play like Mortal Kombat 11, which I did buy on Switch, and it just fucking looked terrible. And maybe it's some like Uncharted, The Last of Us, those kind of like Spider-Man, those like Sony exclusive games, and those big games that are really graphic, like intensive. But for the most part, like on everything else, I'm buying it on Switch. I bought Crash Team Racing on Switch, and that's what I play a lot now. It's I think the Switch is really starting to take that limelight.
All right, that's fair enough.
So, which console is right for you, the listener?
Let us know in the comments. If you're listening on a podcast platform, we are on YouTube. It's a great way to share your input regarding the podcast and also any thoughts and or comments you have on the subject.
Teddy, did you know that on the Switch, not only can you play Clu Clu Land through the NES online service, but for $7, you can also download the arcade version of Clu Clu Land.
Alex, I didn't know that.
Now you know. You can have two different versions of Clu Clu Land on one console. He's astonished.
Button Mappers, it was great. It was a great podcast. I hope to hear back from you soon. Fuck Clu Clu Land, and you guys have a great gaming session, and we'll see you with more Button Mapper podcasts to come.
Leave in the comments why you love the Wii U. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hey y'all, don't forget to subscribe to them Button Mappers.